and welcome to Patsy's Corner. This week we're going to be studying about beans. Do you like to eat beans? Do you know what all kind of beans they are? And beans are good for us. There are red beans and green beans and yellow beans. And sometimes Mama might put beans on the table and you might say, beans again? But beans are good for us. And you can play with beans also, all right? Our stories today is about a special bean and a young boy, and it's Jack and the Beanstalk. And this is a really old story, and this is a classic. It's by Stephen Kellogg, Jack and the Beanstalk. All right. It says, there was once upon a time a poor widow who had an only son named Jack and a cow named Milky White. And all they had to live on was the milk the cow gave every morning, which they carried to the market and sold. But one morning, Milky White gave no milk, and they didn't know what to do. Cheer up, Mother. I'll go and get some work somewhere, said Jack. We've tried that before. Nobody would take you, son. We will sell Milky White, and with the money, start a shop or something. On his way to the market, Jack met a funny-looking old man. Well, good morning, Jack, said he. Good morning to you, said Jack, and he wondered, how did he know my name? Can you tell me how many beans make 5, said the man. 2 in each hand and 1 in your mouth, said Jack. Right, and you are such a bright lad. I don't mind giving a swap with you. You're cow for these beans. Go along, said Jack. Ah, but these are magical beans, said the man. If you plant them tonight, by the morning they will grow up to the sky. Really, said Jack. Yes, and if it turns out not to be true, you could have your cow back. Back already, Jack, said his mother. Tell me, how much did you get for Milky White? You'll never guess, Mama. Could it be 5 pounds? 10? No, she cried, it can't be 20. I knew you couldn't guess. What do you say to these magical beans? Plant them tonight and... What? Said Jack's mother. Have you been such a dolt? Such an idiot, to give away my Milky White, the best milker in the parish, for a paltry bean? Off to bed with you. And as far as your precious beans, here they go out the window. She chunked them out the window. So Jack went upstairs to his little room in the attic, and sad and sorry he was, to be sure, as much as his mother's sake as the loss of his supper. At last, he dropped off to sleep. When Jack woke up, he saw the beans had sprung up like a big beanstalk. They went up and up and up until it reached the sky. The old man did speak the truth after all, and Jack gave a jump onto the beanstalk, and he climbed and climbed and climbed until he reached the sky. Jack walked along, and he walked along and walked along. He came to a big, tall house. And on the doorstep was a great, giant, tall woman. Good morning, Mom, said Jack. Could you be so kind as to give me some breakfast? It's breakfast you want, is it? Said the great, big, tall woman. 'Tis breakfast you'll be if you don't move on. My man is an ogre, and there's nothing like better than boiled boys on toast. Oh, please, Mom, cried Jack. I've had nothing to eat since yesterday morning, really, truly, Mom. And I might be as well born of ogre. Well, the ogre's wife was not half so bad after all. She took Jack into the kitchen and gave him some bread and cheese, when all of a sudden, doom, 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 the whole house began to tremble with the noise of somebody's coming. Good gracious me, said the ogre's wife. Come along quick, as she put Jack into the oven just as he came in. He was a big one, to be sure. All wife, he said. What's this I smell? Fee, fi, fo, fum. I smell the blood of an Englishman, but he alive or be he dead. I'll grind his bone to make my bread. Nonsense, dear, said the wife. You're dreaming. Or perhaps you smell the scraps of the boy you like so much for yesterday's dinner. Here, you're going to have a wash and tidy up. By the time you come back, the calves will be boiled for your breakfast. When the ogre had his breakfast, and after that, he went to a big chest, took out a couple of bags of gold, and he sat down and he counted. At last, his head began to nod, and he began to snore till the whole house shook again. Then Jack crept out from under the table, grabbed a bag of gold, and was out before you could say Jack Robinson. When Jack came to the beanstalk, he threw down the gold, which of course fell at his mother's garden. Then Jack climbed out. "Well, Mother," he said, "wasn't I right about the beans? They are magical, you see." So they lived off the bag of gold for a long time. But at last they came to the end of it, and Jack made up his mind to try his luck one more time up the beanstalk. One fine morning he rose up early and climbed into the beanstalk, and he climbed and climbed and climbed till he came to the big house top again. Then sure enough, standing on the doorstep was a great big tall woman. "Go away, my boy," said the big woman, "or else my man will eat you for breakfast. But aren't you the youngster who came here once before? Do you know that very day my man was missing a bag of gold?" "That's strange, Mom," said Jack, bold as brass. "I dare say I could tell you something about that, but I'm so hungry I can't speak until I have something to eat." Well, the big tall woman was so curious, she took him in again. As happened as it did before, doom, 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 they heard the ogre's first steps, and his wife hid Jack away in the oven. "Fee, fi, fo, fum." After breakfast, the ogre said, "Wife, bring me that hen that lays the golden eggs." So she brought it, and the ogre said, "Lay," and it laid eggs all of gold. Soon the ogre began to nod his head and to snore till the house shook. Then Jack tiptoed out of the oven and grabbed the hen and ran off again. By this time, the hen gave a cackle that woke up the ogre, and just as Jack got out of the house, he heard him roaring, Why, what have you done with my golden hen?" When Jack got home, he showed his mother the wonderful hen and said, "Lay to it," and it laid a golden egg every time he said lay. Well, it wasn't long before Jack decided once again to try his luck at the top of the beanstalk. This time he knew better than to go straight to the ogre's house. When the big tall woman came out with a pail, he crept into the house and hid in the bread box. He hadn't been there long when he heard the doom, doom, doom as before, and in came the ogre and his wife. "Fee, fi, fo, fum, I smell the blood of an Englishman. I smell him, wife, I smell him." "Do you, my dearie?" said the ogre's wife. "Well, if it's a little rogue that stole your gold and the hen, then he's sure to have gotten into the oven." They both rushed to the oven, but Jack wasn't there, and the ogre said, "Then you are again with your fee, fi, fo, fum. Well, of course, it's the boy you caught last night that I just boiled for your breakfast. How forgetful I am, and how careless you are not to know the difference between alive and dead after all these years." "Well, I could have sworn," roared the ogre. He scratched his larder and the cupboards and everything lucky he didn't open the bread box. "Look how scary he is. Ooh, I would hide too." After his breakfast was over, the ogre called out, "Wife, bring me my golden harp." So she brought it, and he said, "Sing!" And the golden harp sang most beautifully. And he went on singing till the ogre fell asleep and began to snore like thunder. Then Jack lifted the lid very quietly and crept like a mouse on his hands and knees till he came to the table, and he crawled up and caught hold of the golden harp. But the harp cried out, "Master, master!" And the ogre woke up. "Oh my, Jack, you better run." Jack ran as fast as he could, and the ogre came rushing after. When the ogre saw Jack climbing down for dear life, he swung himself into the beanstalk, which shook with his weight. Down climbed Jack, and after climbed the ogre. Jack called out, "Mother, mother, bring me an axe, quick!" Jack's mother rushed out with the axe in her hand, and Jack gave a choke, and he cut it in two. The ogre fell down and broke his crown, and the beanstalk came tumbling after. What with showing the golden harp and selling the golden eggs, Jack and his mother became very rich, and Jack married a great princess, and they lived happily ever after. The end. And that's the story, the real story of Jack and the Beanstalk. Now, the second story I got It's a different story, but it is about a seed, and it's called the dandelion seed. And if you don't know what a little dandelion is, just ask your mom or your pop or somebody that's older, and they can tell you what a dandelion seed is. When we were little, we used to find them in the field and put them on our hands, and you could blow them off. See, this is kind of like a dandelion. And the wind would just take it everywhere, all the little seeds. All right? It says it was autumn in the garden, all the flowers had died and dropped their seeds. Only one seed was left, a little dandelion seed, who was afraid to let go. But the winter wind began to bloom. The stronger the wind blew, the tighter the little seed hung on, until it felt the wind blow it right through. Then the seed left the garden behind. It became part of the wind and was carried away. The world was bigger than the seed ever could imagine. See, it's a little white dandelion seed, and they're really fluffy, and they just float along. It was also more frightening and more lonely when he kept flying through the sky, over the big cities and over the clouds and up to the moon. He was lonely. It took him to more beautiful places than he ever imagined, across the oceans. The more the seed saw, the smaller it felt. He kept flying and flying. It wondered where it did belong. The seed landed when snow began to fall. It listened in silence, and peace covered him like a little blanket. When he fell to the ground, it was covered in the snow. See, everything was covered in snow, even the little dandelion seed, as fluffy as it was. Finally, spring came. The sunshine warmed the air and the soil, and the little seed began to grow tiny leaves and roots. Its leaves spread wide to gather the sunlight. See, it's popping up out of the ground. Its roof reached the deep to drink the fresh rain. Soon the seed flowered into the bright, delicate dandelion it was meant to be. They're really pretty. It shared its green leaves with the deer and the rabbits. It gave sweet nectar to the bees and the butterflies. So the little seed found a lot of different uses that he didn't think that he would have. Then almost overnight, the life that began in one little dandelion seed ripened into many, that such became a part of the wind and were carried away. So when the dandelion seed grows, it grows a lot of different little dandelions. And they all come apart. All except one. Don't be afraid, she whispered to the dandelion. The wind and the sun and the rain will take care of you. Let go and you will see. See? And that's the way we used to, when we pulled them off, you'd pick them up and blow a big blow, and the little seeds would fly everywhere. And whatever was left on the stem, we used to tease each other and say, that's how many children you're going to have. If you had 2 little stalks left, you'd have 2 little children. But if you had 8 little stalks left, oh my, it predicted you would have lots of children. You will see. The end. And that's the story of the dandelion seed. And most of these stories are written lots of times by parents and in honor of their children and things like that. And it has a picture of the author and his wife in the back. So it's a really cute story. And sometimes you might, in the woods or in the forest, in the fields, you might see a little white flower blooming, and it'll be a dandelion seed. The end. I hope you find one. Now it's time for us to go to Ventra's Crafts and see what she is going to do with seeds. She's going to show you how to plant a seed.
Hey guys, what? Hold on. I need a little help. That's better. Okay, this week we're gonna do Jack and the Beanstalk. I have a helper here.
My name is Briley.
Her name is Briley, and we're gonna show you how to make your own beanstalk at home. So, first you need a cup. You're gonna need some dirt. Please try not to waste it on your mama's floor. The both of us will be in trouble. Okay, so you take your dirt and pour it in your cup. Oh, good amount of it. There you go. Okay, next you're gonna need a little kebab stick or just a regular stick from outside. Just stick it up in your dirt. You might need a little bit more dirt. Here you go. Bottoms up. All right, then a bean of any kind. Okay, now stick your stick down in there. It can lean a little bit, it doesn't have to be perfect. There you go. Then you're gonna take your little castle. You can come to us and we have a little cutout sheet for you, or you can draw your own at home using construction paper. And you just take your castle, here's your castle, and you get you a little piece of tape and you tape it to the top part of your stick. Oh, I'm sorry, your beanstalk. Okay. All right, and next you're gonna take little strips of paper. You can draw your lines on a piece of paper first, or you can freehand it. And once you have your strip, you take it and fold it in half and connect it to your loop that you already have connected to your castle. You can put as many loops as you want to. You need a little piece of tape to keep your loop together. And you take that and you roll your tape. Let me see. Here you go. Here you go. Loop it around like this. Okay. Here you go. We need about 2 more loops. Or you can use all of these strips right here. Okay, then you can cut you out some leaves. Again, you can freehand it or you can draw it on your little piece of paper and cut it out. Here's one leaf. And you tape it to your stick. Use this piece. You want to show them your cup? Once you get finished, it should look like Briley's, or if not, you can make it look like this one. Now this one, they took theirs and put it on the wall. I would not suggest that. You don't want to peel your mama's wall paint. And you just continue what she just showed you the same way. All right. Next, we're going to show you how to make your own Jack and the Beanstalk hat. You need a piece of construction paper. Here's your construction paper. A feather. Your feather. And that's it. And you take your construction paper and fold it in half. And once you fold it in half, you take the top two corners and fold it down. And once you fold the top two corners down, you take the bottom pieces. You can cut a little slit so it wasn't, it won't buckle up on you. And you just fold them out. You don't need tape unless you want to. And once it's folded, you can take your feather and just stick it in your hat. You may have to tape it if it won't stay like you want it to. Got it. And there's your Jack and the Beanstalk hat. In your bags, when you come to see us, you'll have 3 handouts. A Jack and the Beanstalk crossword search. Here's your crossword. Then you have another Jack and the Beanstalk crossword, but this one is showing you the pictures and you have to put them in the correct slots. This is what it looks like. Here you go. Then you have a word search that also goes along with Jack and the Beanstalk. Here you go. And we have plenty of books on Jack and the Beanstalk, plants, dirt, anything that you want to have fun with. And thank you guys for coming. Thank you, Briley, for helping me. And I'll see y'all next week. Bye. Oh, I forgot one thing. Briley, get back in here. Okay, I forgot to show y'all the cup game. So what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna take one of my little ball things. I'm gonna put it underneath my cup. And you have to tell me which cup it's under. You ready? Okay. Okay.
That one.
Good job, girl. All right, y'all. Thank you. I'll see y'all next week. Bye.